Hey everyone, and welcome to another Fundamentals of Science video from the Seattle Children's Museum. My name is Daniel, and today we're going to be talking about things that will mix and won't mix with water using sand. Specifically, something called magic sand. So we're going to start by learning about two words. A word called hydrophobic and a word called hydrophilic. Now, something that's hydrophilic is something that can mix with water super easily. Things that are hydrophilic can be salt, something like soap or bubble bath. If we have Kool-Aid, that's hydrophilic. It will mix with our water. So there are lots of things that are hydrophilic. It means something that will mix with water well, or that can be stirred up in water, or something that can get wet. So for instance, our skin is hydrophilic. Our skin, we can splash water on it and it will get wet. If I take my fingers and dip them in this cup of water right here, we can see that they're getting wet. I can feel the water on my hands, and so I know that my hands are getting wet. Something that's hydrophobic is something that can't get wet. It doesn't like to get wet. It won't even mix with water. Water will wick right off of it. Some things that are hydrophobic are rubber, like the rubber in our raincoats, or oil. If we're mixing up salad dressing, we can see the oil and the water separate, or we're making lava lamps and we can see bubbles of oil and water in our glass. Our oil is hydrophobic. So today we're going to experiment with two things. I have some regular sand here, just ordinary playground sand. And I have magic sand. So we're going to talk about sand and magic sand, and then I'm going to show you how to make your own magic sand at home. So, regular sand is hydrophilic. That means it will mix with water. So, if I take a scoop of my regular sand and I put it in this little mason jar of water, you can see that it mixes up with the water super easily. I now have a kind of brown glass. If I stir it even more, it has this murky color. It almost looks like beach water or river water. You can't see through it, and I can show you that. I put my fingers behind the glass and you can't see through the glass because the sand that we put in is hydrophilic. It totally got wet and sank to the bottom of the glass. It's mixing with the water, and we can see that because the water is so murky. Murky means when water is dirty or we can't see through it because there's stuff in it. Now we're going to talk about our magic sand. Our magic sand is hydrophobic, that word we were just talking about, and I have a larger glass for us to look at our magic sand. Hydrophobic means that our magic sand will not mix with the water and won't get wet. I know that sounds super hard to believe, but we can take a look and see. So I'm going to get my spoon again from before. I'm going to take just a spoonful of my magic sand, and I'm going to drip it in my water. And what do you notice as I drip it into my water? I'll pull it back out and you can see it's still totally dry. As I try to mix it in the water as best as I can, it's staying in this little air pocket or stuck on top of the water. It's not mixing at all. What if I were to add all of my magic sand to my glass of water? What would happen? It falls in little chunks in my glass. But it doesn't get wet. I can stick my fingers in and feel my magic sand is totally dry. My fingers are wet, but my sand is totally dry. And you can even see that as you pull it out of the water. You can see that it didn't get clumpy like regular sand would be. It's staying dry because it's hydrophobic. Now, because each individual grain of sand is hydrophobic. It's afraid of that water. It can't get wet. It's impossible for it to get wet. There's only one other thing for the sand and the air attached to the sand to stick to while it's in the water, and that's the other sand. That's why we get this funny clumping in our glass, and you can kind of see that. It's making bumps and bubbles in the glass because our sand is clumping together. All right, now we're going to talk about making your own magic sand at home. So I'm going to go ahead and put my water to the side, and the things you'll need to make your own magic sand at home are some regular sand, a cookie sheet or another kind of sheet that you don't mind getting a spray on. You'll have to wash it really well afterwards. You're going to need a well-ventilated place. I have a window open on this side of me and a fan blowing on this side of me, kind of away from the camera so it doesn't pick up the sound. But I have air moving through, so I have a well-ventilated place. The most ventilated place that you can go is outside. Go do it outside. I just can't film outside. So you're going to want to go outside to do the rest of this part. The last thing you're going to need, I have mine taped up just so I can know what it is based on the color. I have bottles sorted by color. Is you're going to need something called Scotch Guard Protect, or another kind of waterproofing chemical. Now this part is important. Using the chemical part is only for a grown-up to do, for a caregiver to do. You could help or watch from a distance, but this is for your grown-up to use, not for you to use. And what you're going to do with your grown-up, and here's the part that you can do, you're going to take that sand that you had, and you're going to spread it out on your sheet. You want to make a nice layer. So I'm going to smooth my sand out with this spoon that I'm using so I have a nice layer of sand. So I have an even layer of sand on my little tiny cookie sheet that you can see. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my waterproofing spray. Waterproofing spray, like this, is a spray that you can use to make something waterproof. We use it a lot on outdoor furniture or on our bags because we live in a city where it rains a whole lot. We're going to take our waterproofing spray and we're going to spray our sand so that we get an even coat of spray on all of the sand. Then what we're going to do is let it sit out in the sun for however long the can tells us to. I know how long mine will take. Mine will take between 20 minutes and an hour. And I'm going to let it sit outside till it's all the way dry, till it looks like it won't be wet to the touch anymore. And once it's all the way dry, then you and your grown-up can come outside and you're going to want to take your spoon or whatever else you were using, and you're going to want to flip all your sand and fluff it up. I'm doing it with my wet sand just so you can see. But you're going to want to flip your sand and spread it back out even on your sheet. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow the spray to coat more of the sand, because we need the sand to be coated all the way for it to be magic sand. So what we do is we fluff our sand out, we flip it over, and then we spray again, and then we spray one more time after that. So you're going to want 3 whole coats. A coat is when we put something over something else. In this case, we're putting our spray over our sand, and we're going to want 3 coats on our magic sand. And once it's finally dry, and dry to the touch, just like sand at the beach, we can then add it to water, and it will be magic sand. You can also find magic sand pretty easily online. Just look up hydrophobic sand or magic sand if you don't want to make your own. And there are tons of awesome experiments you can do with magic sand. You can try to build a sand castle underwater if you have enough magic sand. You can try to see how much magic sand you can float before it starts sinking. You can do what I'm doing right now, where my fingers are coated with magic sand underwater, and then they'll be pretty dry, if not all the way dry, when I pull them out of the water. There are all kinds of things you can do with magic sand. So now you know how to make your own magic sand, some interesting things you can do with magic sand, and some awesome vocab about hydrophobic, meaning afraid of water or not able to touch water, and hydrophilic, something that can super easily get wet and mix with water. Thank you so much for joining me for another Fundamentals of Science video. I've been Daniel with the Seattle Children's Museum. I can't wait to see you for another video.